Okay, so so August 1st, I left for London. I left in all secrecy. I hadn't told any of my friends except for that one friend who was coming along with me. And then I told my siblings and my parents, so a total of 5 people, which was already like such a funny thing to do because usually you would just tell people like, I'm heading off to London. But this time I was just like, I'm just going to study in my dorm room, nothing special, just another Friday. So that was pretty funny to do. And then we arrived in London at like 11 p.m. And then we went to bed like pretty early on. But I was way too excited and I lied awake until 2 a.m. Next morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. I was so stressed out. I was so excited. I was feeling all the feels and it was just the most insane thing ever. I took a shower. We had some breakfast. Initially, I was planning on just staying in the hostel, and just getting ready, reading a book or something. But I was obviously way too stressed out, and I had to do something to take my mind off everything. So we went to this bookstore together at 9 a.m. We went to TK Maxx and we bought some cute little frames to put my picture in. And these are the frames I got from TJ Maxx. But then the stress really started hitting me and I was like, I have to go back. I have to get ready. I put on 3 face masks. I did my makeup twice. I did my hair 4 times. I was running from my bedroom to my bathroom like the entire time. Like I was just freaking out and the people in the lobby must have thought I was crazy. And then I left to the secret location at 1 p.m. I believe, because I really wanted to be on time. We had to be there at 4 p.m. But I really, 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 really suck at taking public transportation. So I was just like, I don't want to be late. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to do anything wrong, Even in Belgium, I will get on the wrong train, get on the wrong bus. Like, I don't know how it's even possible to be that bad at taking public transportation. Like, it seems pretty simple and easy and everything goes right for everyone, but I'm bad at it. So that was already like stressing me out and I almost started crying when I left my friend. I was like, I don't want to do this because it was just all too much, And then on the subway to the secret location, I actually drove by Wembley, which was the craziest thing ever because I had just been there the year prior to that to see Taylor Swift live at the Reputation Stadium tour, and I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I'm meeting that woman now. So that was just a lot to take in, I actually had chills driving by Wembley. Then I took a bus and then I arrived like on a 10-minute walk from the secret location. It was 2 p.m. So everything went pretty smooth actually. And so I decided to have a cup of coffee. So, how does one calm down? Just have a little caffeine. I don't know. It was probably not the best idea, but I had to stay awake because I had only slept like 4 hours. So it seemed like a good idea. And then at 2:30 p.m., I walked to the secret location. I was still pretty anxious that I would have like the wrong address or like be at the wrong place. But luckily I saw a few girls standing there, like 2 groups of girls, and I was like, yes, this is definitely the right place. And I started like mingling with everyone, and it was all just very exciting. I hadn't recognized anyone yet at that point. And then all of a sudden this girl screams, Brett, while I was calling my sister to tell her that I was like at the right location and everything. And I see Danique and I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. Jenny was also there, she's from Spain, Danique is from the Netherlands. And so Danique kept talking to me, but she kept talking in English and she had like no Dutch accent. So I got really confused and I was like, who are you? Because her English was too good. That got me confused. But it was actually really funny, like looking back on it, it was funny, but at the moment it was just like, what? And then we went into like, I would say it was a conference room. Taylor Nation was sitting there, we had to show our IDs, we had to put everything, our valuable stuff, we had to put in like this little plastic bag. We actually just left the bag on our seats because the room would be locked, so that wasn't really a problem, we thought. It wasn't. And then we sat there for about an hour, I'd say. We just started talking to everyone. And like pretty quickly, we started realizing that there were so many nationalities. There were people from Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, Croatia, Malta, Ireland, even Singapore. So I thought it was so cool that they really tried to like, have people from all over Europe and even outside Europe. And then after an hour or so, we also got a bit of an explanation of what we could and couldn't tell, that we couldn't post anything on social media. And then we left and we saw the buses. I was on the last bus and Aniek grabbed my hand and she was like, I'm sitting next to you. And the bus ride there was just, everyone was so hyped. It was amazing. It was the most stressful time of my life, and I'm stressful every day, so that was really, really a lot. And then we arrived at the location, and everyone was just taking it in, like, what is happening? We went into this little room, and security checked us and they asked like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm stressed, but in a good way. And he was like, excited is the word. That was quite funny. And we went into this porch, I'd say. There were these snacks everywhere. There were little cheeseburgers. There were 3 sorts of pizzas. There were jelly beans, M&Ms. There were lover themed. Just like everything you could ever dream of. It was so cute. There was also like this little fruit plates, and then there were like these vegetables and hummus. And everyone just started like digging in, and I was so stressed, and I was like, I'm not hungry, I can't eat anything. And Aniek was like being my mom, and she's like, you are going to eat something, Brit. And so I ate like this tiny piece of pineapple, and everyone was just talking to each other and socializing. It was really fun to get to know everyone and like their stories on how they were invited and everything. And we just sat there for a while, and then after, I don't know, I'd say like half an hour or something, the moms were asked to leave the room, and they were all like walking behind one another, looking clueless, like, what is this? What are we doing here? That was so funny because they had to leave the room before us to go and sit in the actual room where we would have to hear, where we would get to hear lovers. So that was really funny. And then we got to go to the room. I was sitting in the back, but it didn't really matter because like there were like 75 of us, including 10 moms who were sitting on the couch behind us. And I was sitting just in front of the moms, but I had like such a good view because, the room wasn't as big as I imagined. And no matter where you were sitting, like Taylor was close. I had never even had like good seats or anything at one of her concerts, so no matter what, this would be like the closest I'd ever been to Taylor, so this was crazy. And then, you're just sitting there like anticipating what's going to happen, and then she walks in. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Tree Payne was also there, by the way, talking about pretty. She looked like either a mermaid or a fairy. It was gorgeous. She was just gorgeous. But then Taylor walked in, and she started talking to us. And she said that we couldn't talk about like song titles, song lyrics, but also song concepts. And I was just sitting there trying to take it all in. Funny thing was that I was so stressed out before that. But when she walked in, I was just like so in awe. And I wasn't stressed out anymore necessarily. I was just like, wow. It was more of like a feeling of like disbelief and feeling like you're in a dream instead of I'm so stressed out. So I was really glad that I wasn't stressing out too much anymore. And then she actually started to play the album, and I couldn't believe it. I was so sure that I wouldn't remember anything of the first songs, but it's actually the opposite, which is really weird. I remember the first songs pretty well. The album is genuinely like amazing. I can't like say if it's my favorite album yet or if I like it more than 1999 or it's so good, but it's so good. And in my opinion, like the best songs definitely haven't been released yet, so that's also really exciting, and that's often the case with Taylor. So yeah, it's also like pretty sonically cohesive. Like we all we were talking, and you're talking to stands when people were like, this album is really sonically cohesive, right? that was also funny. So we got to hear the first 10 songs. She didn't let us hear the songs that had already been released because it would like take too much time. And she was so funny and so charismatic and so natural, because she would be like talking about a song and then she's like, oh my god, you know what, I'm just going to let you hear the song because the explanation, like, it's not really clear. And that made her like so much more like a real person, like it wasn't like she had planned out what she was going to say or anything. It was so crazy sitting there and like hearing her talk about the music she had written. And honestly, the album is just so good. I can wait to hear it again. My favorite tracks are 2, 4, and 9. 9 has been stuck in my head ever since I left the Secret Sessions, so that's pretty crazy. But yeah, it's so good. And then after track 10, there was like this little break, and we all left the room, and we got like, Taylor said, like, I made these pastel rice Krispies, and Anique was crying and crying, and she was sobbing in my arms, and then the Rice Krispies came out, and I'm like, you need to get a Rice Krispie. So we all got Rice Krispies that Taylor, Alice, and Swift made, so that was, wow, insane. And I still wasn't hungry, but I felt like I had to eat those at least. And we went outside, and she started talking to the moms, and she started thanking them for coming out, and that was amazing. I thought she's so thoughtful. And then after a while, we went back in, and we heard the second part of the album, and it was, of course, like, still amazing. I teared up a few times, but I was like, I don't want to be sitting here sobbing because I have one shot at a picture with Taylor Swift, and I don't want to look like I cried the entire day. But it was so emotional and so unreal to just sit there, and it was so interesting also to hear the stories behind the songs and everything. And so we got to hear the second part of the album, and then after that, she said, like, you can look into the deluxe versions of the album now, like the little magazines, and Tree was holding them, and I got to read the original lyrics to All Too Well, and I'm the biggest Red stan, so that was quite a moment for me. So yeah, that was also amazing. And then this girl from Taylor Nation comes up to me, and she asks if I took a train here. And I was like, yeah, I took a subway. And she was like, well then, you should get in line to meet Taylor Swift now. And it was so overwhelming. I was just eating like this little lover cookie. And I was like, oh, Danique, take my cookie. It was quite a lot. And so I went to the bathroom, and then I went in line to meet Taylor Swift. I was standing there with Jenny and Zita and Javi. And we were all just like, what are you going to say? What are you going to do? It was so overwhelming. And Jenny and I had talked about how she would go first, and then all of a sudden she started panicking, like, you go first. And I don't know how, but I just was like, okay, be courageous. And I just stepped in there. It was crazy. And wait, I'm going to take my book, and I wrote down everything. I just want to see like what exactly conversation was. Okay, so first of all, I said like, hey, thank you so much for inviting so many nice people, because I was really overwhelmed by everyone was just so nice to each other, and the environment was just really nice to be in, like just the Swifties and everything. And she said something like, you had fun tonight, and I was like, did I have fun tonight? I was like, yes, I'm Brit, by the way. And she was like, oh, I know who you are. So many people are rooting for you. You have so many friends. You're so sweet. And I was like, I really tried to be. I don't know like the exact order of a conversation. I don't know like exact things she said, but this was like pretty much it. And then we talked about, I told her that she was such a strong person and she was so authentic. And then we talked about something. I've always wanted to ask her what her favorite song was. Like last year when people were meeting Taylor, I'm like, please, someone ask her what her favorite Taylor Swift song is. And I finally got to do that myself, so that was crazy. And she told that a certain song on Lover was a favorite song. And then I was like, and which one from previous eras? And I was so sure she was going to say Delicate, but then she said All Too Well, and I was like, oh, good choice. I said to Taylor Swift, good choice. I'm such an embarrassment for this world. And I was like, this is the best song ever written. And then we started to talk about Gossip Girl. I asked her if she had seen Gossip Girl, and she was like, Blair is iconic. And it was so funny. So yeah, that was really amazing to talk to Taylor Swift about Gossip Girl. We talked a little more about that. And then she asked me if I wanted to take a picture, and I was like, yes. I would like to take a picture I saw this red couch, and I'm, like I said, the biggest red stan, so it's like, we need to take a picture on this red couch. And it was so cute because I was explaining the pose I wanted to do to her, and she was like trying to get everything right, like okay, so crossing the legs. And it was so cute. And then they showed me the picture to approve if it was okay, and I was like, I look so ugly. I didn't say that, but I was like, shit, I look ugly. So I was like, can we maybe take another one? And so we did. I felt so high maintenance. I actually only came up with the pose like 2 seconds before I walked in because I wanted to do something else. I wanted to be like Shia Singh with glasses, but I didn't want to be like, asking for too much or like being difficult. Someone else did it and it turned out so cute. So, but I'm really glad with the pose I decided to do. And then I was walking out and I remembered that track 4 was my favorite song. So I was like, oh, by the way, blah, 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 is the best song ever. And she was like, yes. It was such a cool moment because it was so spontaneous and so real, And then I walked out and I got this really cute merchandise bag. Wait. We got this. Oh. It says Lover Secret Sessions 2019. I got this t-shirt, which is awesome, like it says. I've been wearing merchandise ever since I met Taylor. And then we got this little hat. Some things are still in packaging because it makes it feel like it just happened. I also got this t-shirt. Then we got this cute ass little pin, which says Lover on it, Lover Secret Sessions. And then I also got one other shirt, but I'm not sure where that is. Might be showing it later on. I'm pretty sure it's in the laundry. So that was amazing. Oh, also we were wearing this wristband the entire night. Tian put that on us to show that we were like real people there. I don't know. So yeah, after that I got the merchandise bag, and then this really nice girl from Taylor Nation asked me like, hi, do you want to take an interview? And so I replied to a bunch of questions. I feel like I was so annoying in that interview. I was so embarrassing. I was like, I came all the way from Belgium. Like, there were people from Singapore. Why did I say that? But it's like you've met Taylor like 0.2 seconds ago and they're interviewing you, so you're just excited about everything. And then I said like, this is my favorite track, hands down. I'm pretty sure I even did this, so I'm an embarrassment for this world. But that was also quite cool though, being interviewed by Taylor Nation. And then we went back on the bus and we waited there, and it was so cool to see everyone coming on the bus, having just met Taylor, and like, what did you say to her? What was it like? So that was really, really, really cool. And at some point, the alarm on the bus started going off, and I was like, if we die, at least we'll die happy. It was so, it was just the best night ever. And then we went back to the secret location where we dropped off, and I had a few like problems with taking my bus back because it wasn't driving anymore, and I couldn't get to the subway station, so I ended up taking a cab back. And I got back to the hostel and I was just like, what just happened? But yeah, it was the best experience ever of my entire life. And I am so thankful for Taylor Nation, for everyone who was there, for everyone who has ever been rooting for me, like everyone who liked and retweeted my Reputation Stadium Tour outfit picture, because I'm pretty sure that's how they found me. It's amazing, because Taylor also said that she found everyone herself, whether it had been like 1 month ago or 16 months ago. So that was crazy. I am still processing it all, still trying to comprehend it. Well, I even forgot to mention like the most full circle moment ever. When I went to Wembley last year, I dropped my phone on the ground during Don't Blame Me because I was too excited to hear that song live. And just before I went to the secret sessions, I also dropped my phone and my screen is completely broken. So that's funny in a way, I guess. I also wanted to mention that Taylor was wearing a shirt, I was wearing a shirt, she was wearing heart-shaped earrings, and I was wearing these. So I thought that was so cool. Like the heart-shaped earrings were obvious, but still. And so here's the other shirt. This might be my favorite that I got. It says, "You can't spell awesome without me." This one is so pretty and funny story. My mom actually thought she had messed it up. She went to me in panic, like, oh my god, I messed up your shirt. And I'm like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. It's called tie-dye. So that was funny. I can't believe I forgot this, but so when I stood up from the couch from taking my picture, I gave Taylor Swift a hug, and what the fuck, and she told me like, "You're amazing," and I was like, "No, I'm not." So I screamed back like rather aggressively, I think, "You're amazing." Okay, so if you somehow made it to the end of this video, which I don't think is even possible because it's such a long video. But if you did, thank you for watching.